What's up, everybody? Nick Dwyer back for the 10th inning here with another episode of This Day in Sports History. In yesterday's episode, we saw David Price sign the then largest contract for a pitcher in MLB history as he signed a 7-year, $250 million contract with the Boston Red Sox in 2015. We don't have any big name contracts like that today, but we do have some Grey Cups to get into. We have some Heismans to talk about, and we have some more championship games to get into in college football. So if y'all enjoy this video, leave a like on it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to it. This Day in Sports History. And we will start off with a Grey Cup in 1914. The Toronto Argonauts would win their first championship, defeating the University of Toronto Blues 14-2. Move up to the 1925 Grey Cup, and the Ottawa Senators would win their first title, defeating the Winnipeg Tammany Tigers 24-1. Over to Major League Baseball now in 1926, Cardinals catcher Bob O'Farrell would be named National League MVP. Best in Red second baseman Huey Critz in the voting, 79 points to 60 points. Back to the Grey Cup now in 1931. And the Montreal AAA Wind Wheelers would win via shutout over the Regina Rough Riders 22-0 to win their first title. 5 years later, remain at the Grey Cup, and the Sarnia Imperials would defeat the Ottawa Rough Riders 26-20 to win their second Grey Cup. And our final Grey Cup of the day in 1942, the Toronto RCAF Hurricanes would defeat the Winnipeg RCAF Bombers 8-5. Now let's get into some boxing. We started in 1947, and Joe Louis would defeat Jersey Joe Walcott in 15 rounds via decision to retain his title in his 24th defense. Stay in boxing in 1950, and Ezra Charles would win via knockout over Nick Barone in 11 rounds to retain the heavyweight title in his 5th defense. Stay in that same year, 1950, get into the first Heisman of the day. Ohio State quarterback Vic Janovich would win with a total of 633 points. Best in second place is 280 on the year, 561 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 314 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. Move up 6 years to the 1956 Olympics in Melbourne, and British swimmer Judy Grinham and American Karen Cohn would both swim a world record 1 minute, 12.9 seconds in the women's 100-meter backstroke. But Grinham would be awarded the gold medal. Up to 1971, go to the NFL, and Los Angeles Rams running back Willie Ellison would set the then NFL record of 247 rushing yards against the Saints in a 45-28 victory, best in the previous 243 yards. From the NFL back to college in 1972, at the 38th edition of the Heisman, Johnny Rodgers, the Nebraska wide receiver / running back, would win with 348 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns, 1,013 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns, and 1 punt return TD for a total of 1,310 points over second place 966. Move to 1981 now, stay with the Heisman, and running back Marcus Allen out of the University of Southern California, USC, would win with a total of 2,427 yards, 22 touchdowns on the season, good for 1,797 points, over second place 1,199. 1 year later in 1982 at the PGA Seniors Championship, Don January, who would play even par, would win his only Champions Tour major, 1 stroke over Julius Boros. Back to the Heisman now in 1983, running back out of Nebraska, Mike Rozier would win on the season 2,148 rushing yards, 29 touchdowns. He would get 1,801 votes over second place's 1,172. And our final Heisman of the day in 1987, wide receiver Tim Brown out of Notre Dame on the season, 846 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, for a total of 1,442 points over second place's 831. Move to tennis now in 1988, and Boris Becker would defeat defending champion Ivan Lendl 5-7, 7-6, 3-6, 6-2, 7-6 to win his first of 3 ATP Masters Grand Prix tennis titles. Our first championship game of the day in 1992 at the first edition of the SEC Championship game, number 2 Alabama would defeat the number 12 ranked Florida 28-21 with Antonio Langham winning game MVP. Over to the Davis Cup now in 1993, Germany would defeat Australia with a score of 4-1 to win their third and most recent Davis Cup victory. Move to 1998 now, and we have the SEC Championship game and the Big 12 Championship game. Let's start with the SEC. Number 1 ranked Tennessee would defeat number 23 ranked Mississippi State 24-14, and Peerless Price would win MVP. Then in the Big 12 Championship game, one of the best Big 12 Championship games ever, the number 10 ranked Texas A&M would defeat number 2 ranked Kansas State 36-33 in a double overtime game. Back to the Davis Cup now in 1999, Australia would defeat France 3-2 to win their 27th of 28 Davis Cups. Take a little break off the Davis Cup, go to the NBA in 2000, Karl Malone of the Utah Jazz would hit a finger roll, and that would move him past Wilt Chamberlain for second place all-time on the NBA scoring list. On the day, Malone scored 31 points in a 98-84 victory over Toronto, giving him 31,443 points, 24 more than Wilt Chamberlain. Back to the Davis Cup now in 2003, Spain would defeat USA 3-2 to win their second of 6 Davis Cups. Our final set of championship games now in 2009, we have the SEC, ACC, and Big 12 games. Starting the SEC, number 2 ranked Alabama would defeat number 1 ranked Florida 32-13 with quarterback Greg McElroy winning MVP for Alabama. Then in the ACC game, number 12 ranked Georgia Tech would defeat number 25 ranked Clemson 39-34 with running back CJ Spiller winning MVP. Finally in the Big 12 championship game, number 3 ranked Texas would defeat number 21 ranked Nebraska in a surprisingly low scoring matchup 13-12. 1 year later we go into the final Davis Cup of the day in 2010, and Serbia would defeat France 3-2, and this would be Serbia's only Davis Cup title. Finally in 2017, in the international world of sports, Russia would be banned from the Olympics for the next 4 years, 2 Olympics, due to persistent doping. So there you have it, that's what happened on this day in sports history. If I left anything out, I do apologize, but I'll see everybody tomorrow for Nick Dwyer and the 10th inning. Have a great weekend, everybody.